Okay, so good evening. This first part is the annual meeting of the council, which has to be held in May of each year, and it makes appointments and adopts our various rules for the following year. Elects the chair and vice chair, appoints councillors to our committees, adopts our standing orders and policies. After the annual meeting, there'll be an introduction to the normal parish council meeting and the usual open forum. So we move straight into the annual meeting. So nominations for chair.
You ready?
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Not to accept.
Well done, Dan.
No, sure.
Right. Nominations for vice chair. Now, Steve is ill this evening. We don't actually have apologies.
Next month, yeah.
But Steve is actually ill this evening. However, he's yeah, well, I won't go into it. This is publicly streamed. But I'm very happy to nominate him for vice chair for the following year if I can have a second for that, which is Darren. We're all in favour. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right, so therefore not. Right, so are there any changes to the register of members' interest forms? These are the declarations of interest that we all have to make.
I've got the apologies there, Luke.
Yeah, oh, apologies for Luke, yeah, and indeed Steve. No changes. Appointing committees then. So if we can look at these, we've actually put 5 of us, most of us, onto the sports committee by adding Luke. Can I just, Steve is happy to continue. Can I just check, Darren and Kay, that you'd like to continue on the sports committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would, right, okay. The village hall committee has got 3 councillors, Steve, Dave and Darren. Are you both happy to continue with that? Cameron, do say if you want to sit on any of these.
Yes, that's fine.
I'll do for anyone.
Yeah.
Right, communications and website. That's Steve, Cameron, yourself, and me. And basically, what that means is when things go on the website, it just gets circulated to us, and we say, "Yeah, you want names for it to go on." Dave, are you happy with dog fouling again?
Yeah.
Public transport.
Hands-on stuff.
Is anyone interested in public transport? It used to be Russell. I don't want to strong arm anyone. I mean, as they're not here, we could always put on it.
Steve would love it.
I actually don't, have we spoken to them about that now?
Not specifically.
Has anyone got a particular interest in public transport? Otherwise, we'll ask Steve and Luke when the next meeting whether they'd like to.
Yes.
I've just recently this weekend been on every bus in the Lake District. With my bus pass.
Very good,
But that's up there.
Number 33 is what it's all about. Okay, well, I'll continue with that. Highways and street lights. Lucas said he'd like to do that. I'd like to continue doing that. And
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't want to.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
I'm happy to help out wherever.
Okay. Footpaths. That's Steve, Dave, and Luke. You okay with that? Okay.
Yeah.
Flower Festival, you pick in yourself.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's been a hard one, but yeah.
Neighbourhood plan, which I'm not sure whether we need to do it this year. It depends on when the Milton Keynes local plan gets adopted. Might actually be in this term of office. But anyway, it's Steve, Dave, are you happy with that? Yeah. and-
Oh, quite happy to get involved with that.
You would,
Yeah.
okay, good, Cameron, if you could add Cameron, that'd be really helpful, thank you, Cameron. Parishes Forum, this is a quarterly meeting. Steve and myself, it's in the evenings, it's the Milton Keynes, most of the Milton Keynes parishes turn up to that at the Civic Centre. And Mount, which is the district part of the county association that we belong to. And again, I put Steve down on that as he's not here.
Which house? Yeah, second.
Right, so we now move on to adopting the Standing Orders Code of Conduct and Financial Regulations, which I think those are unchanged, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, so those are unchanged. So do we actually have to have the resolutions on these?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll propose that we accept those as David seconding it, and we're all in favour. Now, adopting the following council policies, which we have listed, and there are some new ones this year, driven mainly by the fact that Jackie's been going on her Silker course and has found out all the things that we haven't been doing. So there are new policies on accessibility on the website, which actually, in fairness, we did adopt the rules. I happened to be going through backlogs of emails. We did adopt the rules for accessibility on the website, but this formalises it. The equality and diversity policy, a risk management strategy, though there was already, as Jackie reminded me this week when we were going through this, there is already a risk register that we've got. So this is the policy that basically supports that. And a safeguarding policy, which I think we particularly need for the village hall, just to formalise the fact that the regular hirers need to have a safeguarding policy formally, and the casual hirers must sign off that they understand their obligations to protect vulnerable people and children. So with those new policies, are there any questions about them, or are we happy? Okay, in that case, I'll propose that we adopt all of those. And Kay, I think, is seconding, and everyone's in favour. Right, well, that is actually the parish meeting, which has closed now. So we
Break out of the +7.
I think we will move straight on.
Back to work.
So we'll move straight on to the what's called the ordinary council meeting, and the open forum. I'll just do a little bit of an introduction. I need to apologise for the lack of sound last meeting, which, when I was relocating the microphone after the parish meeting, I must have knocked it in some way so that there was no sound. Of course, when I'd done a sound check at the beginning, I didn't do a second sound check after that, and so that was not a useful recording. This evening we've got the normal council business reports and so on, but after that we've got 4 planning applications. 2 relate to the removal of trees in the conservation area at Castlethorpe Lodge and at 1A North Street. There's a listed building consent application for secondary glazing at 4 South Street. And finally, a single storey rear extension at number 2 New Road. There are just 3 resolutions this evening to request a meeting with Milton Keynes Highways to discuss local speed limits, actually outside of the village, not inside, to consider a response to the government's new town proposal. And those of you who are watching would appreciate if you stay for that, because that's quite an important one. And to discuss repairs to the Little Free Library on the Green. There's one Part 2 item tonight from which the public are excluded and will not be streamed on YouTube, which is the clerk's annual review. And our next meeting is on the 1st of June, and we'll start at our usual time, of 7:30. So with that introduction, we'll now move to an open forum. Tony, did you have anything you wanted to raise? No? That's very good. In that case, we move straight into the meeting itself. So let's go down to so we've got again, the apologies for Luke and Steve. Any declarations of interest in any of the items on the agenda? No. To approve the minutes of the last meeting of the 13th of April, are there any corrections that anyone would like to see made to that?
No.
In that case, can I have a proposer? That's Darren, and all in favour? Yeah, that's all of us, thank you.
I wasn't there, so I can't.
Oh, right, okay, well, all present.
No, check.
No doubt you are watching eagerly on YouTube. And,
It's
Definitely.
Can you lift it?
yeah.
Too ill.
Live breathing.
Live breathing ammonia.
Right.
do we move on to the clerk report then? So the solar panel project we'll come back to in a minute. The village sign, that's on the agenda as well, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot to say anyway, so we'll do it later, yeah.
The public art project, we're had to submit for funding. Now we have a project to go forward, which we approved at, I think, the last meeting. But that has to go to a public art board meeting at Milton Council before the money can be released. And that was held on that's interesting, was it really held on the 6th of May, before the election? Surprised that they were able to do that. Anyway, hopefully we'll get an outcome. It might have been delegated to officers, actually. If it was, that'd be fine. Solar bollards at the sports ground. Well, it says there. Basically, for those who haven't seen our papers, and our papers are all online now, and I hope I had to post it on Facebook, but you should be able to see all of the papers in the link that I provided there. Now, that's coming in. But basically, we approved having these solar bollards very similar to the ones that were, I think I need to mute you, Karen. There we go. Similar to the ones that are at the Thrupp Close end, there are 2 there. And we're going to put another 14, basically starting from the corner of the tennis courts near the pavilion, running round to the football pavilion. We'll put one on the other side of the football pavilion, which is just to see whether there's enough sun to make the thing work or not, and then we'll make a decision on whether we can put more there. As an aside, is that Luke has suggested that we cut back the herbage, which actually is already overhanging the footpath there, to just behind the tree line, and that will actually stop. It'll give a bit more light, and it'll also stop it overgrowing onto pedestrians, which frankly it does at the moment. So I think, Jackie, if you can ask Charlie, is it Charlie going to do that? Yeah. If Charlie could do that, that'd be good. So that's the position on the solar bollards.
Well, just to add that I had confirmation back from MKCC to say we can do it in 2 parts. So I tried to order we'll get the order ready, and they haven't got new stock. So it was an 8-week
Oh, no.
I found somebody else that does them, but they're nearly £600 more.
Well, each or
No, for the
absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure it'll be 8 weeks.
Well, and the weather's not off.
Yeah.
The thing is, that sun will be fully charged, won't they?
Well, they will charge, but they won't. They was really good much fast.
Yeah, as Cameron says, we hardly need them at this time of the year. Right. Best Kept Village starts next month, and I would ask everybody if you could tidy up outside your property and anywhere else if you feel able to do so, to make the village tidy. And we must also make sure all the notice boards and so on are up to date and don't have old things.
I organised a litter pick last time and they were very good.
Was that Russell?
No, it was a lady.
Oh, it was a lady.
Pups and beavers would help.
Yeah,
Before, if somebody would have arranged it.
there was a lady who organised it on a.
I think she did it the week before.
It was,
Not
yeah.
last year, the year before she did.
Do we know, can we check who she is and ask her if she's prepared to do it or not? I mean, or
To be fair
would the
to her.
Cubs and Beavers be prepared to have a go? I mean,
Yeah,
we've got a,
when's scoring?
We don't know, it's either June or July.
Yeah.
There's Cub camp, and well, there's a whole scouting camp next weekend. So it would have to be probably the weekend after or something.
oh yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't think it would be before June. So the nearer to June, the less time there is for more.
Yeah, no, it's, so yeah, it'd be, realistically be the 6th of June, that Saturday would probably be the.
Saturday would be a great day because that's after the bin men have been and left all the debris all over the place, so yeah.
As the picked up.
Will you take that?
Okay.
I'll ask James about it.
Yeah, that'd be really appreciated, actually. And actually, anyone else in the village who's able to go around and do some litter picking, we're talking about the 6th of June, that's the Saturday, is it, the 6th?
Yes.
Yeah, if anyone else is available, please let, I guess,
I've got
Darren or Jackie know.
picky sticks.
Yeah, we have picking sticks, yes.
Maybe we could put something on Facebook about the areas that were needed
Yeah.
to be tidied from last time. What
Yeah.
were the improvements that we had, and we could just make a note on Facebook that actually
Yeah.
this is happening. It would be great if you could.
Yeah.
And
I mean, there's been a problem in getting the credentials across from Russell to the new people.
Yeah.
So I'm just posting on behalf of the parish council at the moment. So I'll put the litter pick on Facebook. If you could confirm to me that it will be there.
Yeah.
And can I put you as a contact?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure there'll be a lot of people,
Speak to,
and then Jackie can actually have the picking sticks.
if it was done throughout, if people could do it, I don't know, if
Yeah.
they could organise like the lady did last. I can't remember her name. I'm very sorry if you're online, but you did a wonderful job. So yeah.
That'd be nice, yeah. It's good. Good idea. Moving on. Internal auditors postponed, communities watch. I've still got to fill in my form, Dave, so mea culpa.
We're basically just stands at the moment. I need at least one more person
Yeah.
to do the,
So we need one more person to volunteer on community speed watch.
and I can get some signs for us.
Yeah,
But if Phil fills his form in, would that be?
That would be,
That'd do.
I'd be able to get going, yeah.
Oh,
But
so-
we would have the minimum
Yeah.
number of people.
all right, well, I'll really will.
It's not. Well, we'll see. I'm going to chase it up again this week.
That's
See if
going
there's
to get the scheme help.
Yeah.
Rather than go through the rest of the items, which are the carry forward items, any questions on 12 to 16?
No.
And then highways,
No.
I mean, they have actually done quite a lot of work. I am dubious about some of the repairs on North Street, which don't seem to have been sealed properly, but I'm not a highways
Yeah, I
engineer.
thought the same thing when you walk over them, you know, it doesn't look like it's going to hold throughout the
Yeah.
winter. I think first sign of some rain and a little bit of
Yeah,
cold
nice.
weather and they'll be up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
Or a
right,
tractor.
yeah.
Or a tractor.
So- Is Bullington End, can I come up with, have they got?
I mean, Bullington End is very uneven, but I think the potholes have got now.
Yeah, it's just.
Did Alison say they were going to research?
I was going to say, I thought
See,
they
she
were
did say
planning
that,
to
didn't
resurface all
Yeah,
the way up
But
to
I'll just
the
put research.
yeah.
narrow.
2038,
Yeah, when I retire, I really.
2038, I think.
You've done it yourself, with your
Big road been moved now, isn't it?
And the damage goes on outside the school, but yeah, okay, very good. That's going to be done when funds allow. which is rather ominous at this time of the year, but there we go.
Good on them.
Right, so that's all of the minutes of the clerk's report. Ward councillors, well, if, I mean, there is an issue, I may as well raise it now. When we have to move, because there's a bank holiday, which typically happens in April and May only, we move on a week. The second Monday is when Hounslow have their meeting. We've now got one ward councillor, so she obviously can't be in two places at once. There's also an issue with the gap between our meetings. It means there's a very long one between the March meeting and the April meeting, and then a very short one between the May meeting and the June meeting. So I was going to suggest that we, in future, we look for a date immediately after the bank holiday Monday, probably not the Tuesday, which I think is Youth Club, but perhaps on the Wednesday. I think the hall is free, and see if that might be a possibility in future, and just reduce the frequency and make it easier for.
Away for work on a Wednesday, but I'll just give my apologies if I am, so.
Yeah.
Most of the time I'm here, but
Okay.
every now and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can probably give you the date in May now if you.
Actually, unlikely to be away in May, so no, that should, yeah.
Okay. So
That's a good idea.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah,
just do
makes
that. I
sense.
think it will make life easier for us all. So no ward councillors tonight. If Alison is able to get here, then we'll come back. On the solar panel project, which is 4.3, we met. Well, Luke's away as he had prior engagement. It's not well, but in fact, I had to deputise for Steve at the two meetings with suppliers, both of whom I think were pretty good. I think we are looking to get a third quote in, just because it's a sum over 3,000, and we'd like to have three good quotes, which I think is in hand now.
It's
Yeah.
been tomorrow.
But both of them, what we're looking at is a 20 kilowatt solar panel output, which seems to me quite a lot. It spoke very well of the aspect of the roof, which one is pure south facing and the other is only 35 degrees off, and a 10 kilowatt battery.
So we're going with the battery.
Yeah, with a 10 kilowatt battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly some capacity is going to be needed inside because you're running stoves and dishwashers and so on. So, and that certainly fits within the budget that we've got. Is there anything else that you need to say?
No, well, only that we hope to make a decision soon, and you might call them.
Yeah, I might call it extraordinary, though actually, funnily enough, for exactly the reason I'm just discussing about the meetings being compressed at this time of the year, if I did call it extraordinary, it would only save us a week at best, and I think probably the inconvenience of an extraordinary meeting is not worth doing it. There's a fairly long period. I can't get the initials right, but Jackie may have inside knowledge on what they are. Is it a DNS connect?
Oh, no, I can't remember. No, DN.
DNS, yeah.
Not DNS.
Anyways, you have to get permission to feed back into the grid, and that takes about 4 weeks to come through anyway. So, but we would like to get it as soon as possible, because obviously we'll save money once we're generating, and we'll be generating more in the summer.
Yeah.
So that's that. Village sign, Dave, anything?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have an update really, other than, yeah, a member of the team is trying to find the time to bring something forward.
Yeah.
When I get that, I should pass it on straight away. So at the moment, well, the answer's no.
Yeah.
I could sit here waffling. The answer's no.
That's very, very honest, Don. Very good. Okay. All right. In that case, let's move on to 5.1, which is the planning application to remove a mature sycamore tree at Lodge Farm, Hounslow Road.
I think I know this really.
Yeah. Any comments, Dave, on it?
I mean, it's sad.
It's always sad when trees.
Yeah.
burn, Yeah.
I mean, what was the reason for it? What do we know?
I'd
Okay,
have,
so I did have a quick look. Don't think they said why.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be a reason?
Has it got a TPC on Something
well,
like
no,
that.
it'll be in, I think it will be in a
Yeah.
conservation area, so it will be
it? There'll be a TPC.
automatically, have a-
I mean, I'm not happy to just go, yeah, take it down.
yeah.
If there's nothing wrong with the tree, they shouldn't be taking it down.
Have they got an arborologist report? Do you know, I haven't
I
actually seen.
haven't completed it, I haven't looked, I came and said a long time ago, didn't it, or not a long time ago, but early in the month. And I haven't-
Whereabouts is this?
It's on the path going up towards Lodge Farm Courts. Yeah,
Okay.
it's where it's the barn convention, isn't it?
With the thatch, or the one,
That's what.
Yeah, that's
Very
right.
quickly,
nothing with Castlethorpe Lodges.
if I just find planning and. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I should have done this
small,
before.
Why?
Yeah, I think.
Have you got it?
Some thatch one, it's that big old one that we just had.
Yeah.
Does it say why? Is that the application?
No,
It's
sorry.
just a map.
Where was it at?
Do you know, this new website of Milton Keynes Council, it is absolutely dreadful. You have to click so many times before you.
Oh, Alison's emailed to say she's come here at 1:45 after Hillsdale. So she'll
Okay.
We'll be gone well.
Well, why don't we keep looking at these
Got to find that
reference?
planning permission, yeah.
I can't see
Okay.
It's repainted.
any papers at all on it.
No,
Oh, wait a minute, maybe so.
it was.
Yeah, files.
Do you want the number?
No, I've got the number. Oh, right, so it's damaged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, they're showing damage at the base. Yeah. What would have been nice is if they'd made a commitment, I can't see if they, I'll have a quick look at the application form to replace it in some way.
Yeah. I mean, if they're saying the tree's damaged, we can't object to it, can we?
Right, so what they say is we seek permission to remove the mature sycamore tree situated immediately outside our property at Castlethorpe Lodge. The tree is now approximately 11-12 metres in height, and due to its size, position and ongoing impact on the property, we believe it's no longer suitable in its current location. Over time, the tree has caused and continues to cause several serious issues affecting both the structure and enjoyment of the house. The pit is close. Most importantly, we are increasingly concerned the root system is contributing to structural movement and damage to the property, including the appearance and internal cracking of the house. Given the proximity of the tree to the building, we are concerned that continued growth and spread may worsen the damage and potentially affect the foundations and surrounding ground. It is causing physical damage to the roof, with branches and debris affecting the roofing and tiles. Its scale and spread also result in a significant loss of natural light during the summer months. The tree further creates an ongoing nuisance through heavy aphid activity. The tree now appears disproportionately large for its position and is no longer appropriate. Our concern is not only one of amenity, but also property protection, long-term maintenance and risk management. Well,
So the tree isn't damaged.
I know they said it was damaged. I think it was the damage that it's causing, not damage to the tree. I think we ought to ask the Milton Keynes arborologist to comment on this application. And, you know, we would have liked to have seen the replacement tree somewhere in the
Yes.
grounds.
Yeah.
If one is taken down. Can we do that, please?
Yeah.
It probably wouldn't have been put that close on a new build.
No.
Probably
No,
not.
it's not.
But the tree was probably there before the house, wasn't it?
You think? Quite an
Oh,
old
it's a very old house, isn't it? Yeah.
Somebody may have gone and planted that without realising what it was going to do it to the house
Yeah.
in the long
It's
term.
very true.
I mean, if it is damaging the foundations
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
No, appreciate it, just, yeah.
valid comments, I guess, yeah.
Okay. Then the second one is, are we all happy with that as a response?
Yeah.
Yeah. The second one is the removal of an ornamental non-fruiting wild cherry tree at 1A North Street. I just need to pick that one up now.
I don't know where we've gone at.
Yeah, it's opposite shop.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
red
opposite
brick,
shop.
the red brick houses that set that, yeah, okay, got you.
Oh, is that one there?
No,
it's
I
no-
think it's the stone built
Stone.
ones, yeah.
Just before.
Well, the two at the path.
Either side of the red brick ones, there's a stone one.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Same entrance.
Mm.
Let me just have a very quick look on this one then. So I do normally look at this, but I can tell you the joys of right. So, yeah. Going down, so we should have looked at these people, and I should have done as well. We hereby apply for tree works in conservation area. Well. I'm just trying to, all right. I can't see that they put any.
That might have been the one I was looking at. I thought there wasn't a reason.
Yeah, I can't see any reason there. Let me just close that, and they've got a photograph.
Can't recall seeing the tree. It is ornamental, does that mean it's quite a small tree?
Yeah, it is quite a small thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No problem.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought it was. I don't know if you managed to catch up on it as well, but I don't think it's of any great value, is it? Yeah, so no objection. No, okay, no objection. Fourth South Street. This is secondary glazing to all windows. You'll know which house this is, yeah. I mean, he's not allowed to have double glazing in there because it's listed. So, in fact, he's not even allowed to change the glass in the windows.
He's delisted for what would you like to?
Sorry?
It takes control of delisted.
Yeah.
What was he want?
So anyway, we don't know. Anyone have a problem with
No.
secondary glazing? No, no objection. And then the last one is 2 New Road. Which I have to say does seem to be quite a large extension at the rear. But I don't think it's really facing the public highway.
No, it's not.
Does anyone,
There's no objections for any names, is there? So,
anyone want to, the objection? No, okay, so no objection.
There's only me that's effective, let's say.
I'm sorry?
Single story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's bottom of our garden. But I mean, I don't think it's going to affect us, so I think it'd be very mean for me to say, because I'm just.
Right, in that case, we'll move on to previous planning applications and in section 6. Are there any comments on any of those that one would like to make? The only one I would like to check on is 6.4, 31 Shepperton. Have we heard what's happened on that, Jackie?
No.
Can you please keep a close eye on it? We had
I'm on taking down the door off, just 2 doors down. They've been digging down there, so checking it, just staying there. The other day, there was a chap with them digging a big hole to see if the floating was Susan would put up a story on. That's only pre-act work.
yeah,
They could take such a long time and can't they use.
they can, but what I was going to say was what happened once before when Steve was clerk is that we lodged an objection and we didn't know it was coming up. We just didn't hear anything, anything. Then suddenly Steve realised that it was coming up, and you have to register to speak so many days before the what's now called the planning panel, and they said no, you can't speak. And he was going, and then you got into the situation, and therefore you have one strike, Castlethorpe Parish Council, and you'll lose your right to call in for 6. And he managed to overcome that on the basis that he turned up, but he wasn't allowed to speak. So if you could check that, check on that, please. Right, moving into section 7 then, if there's no other questions on section 6. To agree to a public excluded part 2 to the meeting. I'll propose that. We all favour that, yeah. Right. 7.2 is to request a meeting with MKCC Highways to discuss local speed limits. And I'm almost at rant stage on this, because you may remember that we objected to the TRO that was being put forward on the various roads. We wanted a 40-mile-an-hour limit on Bullington End Road and covering the junction at the top where there was a fatal accident, and we thought that it was overreach putting a 40-mile-an-hour limit on the whole of the road between Tattle End and Gayhurst. Now, I put in your packs both the list of representations that were made, and very broadly, Havisham Parish Council were in favour because it included some restrictions on or restrictions on some of the roads in their area that they were worried about, which is fair enough. Rather embarrassingly, Alison supported it because she was concerned about getting some restrictions on the approach to Tattle End, because there had actually been a couple of actually minor incidents in the village itself, and it is fair enough as you come down the hill, cars had actually overturned. It was still a minor accident, fortunately, but and she supported that. And then against it, there were a couple of objections. One of which
just reading now.
Oh, and there's yeah.
Well,
Then there were
not even support or reject, but
there was
interesting comment.
Yeah, there was one which is almost not possible to speak. It's impressive that they actually put it in there. And then there was a cyclist who said he wanted everywhere 40 miles an hour or lower. Now, when you actually look at the decision that was made, our objection wasn't included in the submissions they considered. I'd submitted a freedom of information on this because I couldn't, I wanted to know on what basis they'd made this decision, what the evidence was for it. And basically, there is nothing. So I think the next stage is, I've replied saying you've clearly missed something out. A, missed out the Castlethorpe Parish Council objection. And secondly, I cannot believe that a highways officer as experienced as Mr. Graham Cox, who's the bloke there, would have made a decision without any evidence. See what happens with that.
You read that? No.
But we will ask, you read the, yeah. But we will ask Alison to agree a meeting with I do apologise to the public. Councillors are reading some rather aggressive comments that were made by a member of the public to Milton Keynes Highways, which are not repeatable. But they're probably available online somewhere if you want to go and look. Anyway, so Alison had said that she was trying to arrange a meeting with Highways, and I think we'd like to press for that. If we could just resolve to request a meeting with Milton Keynes Highways, yeah. Those that we're all happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are they proceeding with?
It's done.
Oh, it's done. What is it?
Yeah, they've just done it. And it's they put a 50-mile-an-hour limit between Hounslow Park and the dips, which seems to me to be excessive. So it goes 40 at Hounslow Park, then it goes up to 50, which frankly I think could have stayed at 40 for the whole of that length. It's a very twisty road. And I particularly feel that the turning from Hounslow Park into Bullington End Road, it's blind. And every time I get there, I kind of literally stop, look, and there's nothing going on. I absolutely put my foot down to get across before anyone else can come out the corner. And obviously some thought so and so didn't.
So from Tattle End now to Gatehurst, 40.
Yeah. Which is ridiculous.
I can't see anyone going to follow that. It's too straight in the road, isn't it?
But just to back that comment, there is no policing power.
Yeah.
Anyway. Right, we'll do that. We now move on to 7.3, which is the comments on Newtown. And I do really want to stress to residents that you should, and each of us as individual councillors, as well as submitting the council response, I would like to suggest that you do put a response in on this. Now, just to let you know what this is, it's an area basically around Havisham, and it's from Havisham right up to and just over the dips, includes a bit of land, Jan Taylor's land. It's just, well, actually it's technically not in Castlethorpe, but it's literally onto the boundary of Castlethorpe, right up to Hounslow Park, in fact, sweeping right round on both sides of Hounslow Park. It's a very large area, as you will have seen from, I think have I put a drawing there? I can't remember if I put the drawing in, but you can see it now. I certainly put it on the on Facebook.
Yeah, it's been on Facebook a number of times and people have reposted it. Absolutely.
And I believe that the capacity of houses is 21,000. Now, to put that into some kind of context, that's 10 times the size of Oney. So it's 10 Oneys. I think it is 4 times the size of Newport Pagnell. I mean, it is Havisham Newtown. And it's not just the number of houses that you've got. As we know, it's also the disruption that will go on for, I mean, there's still, I mean, the Eastern Expansion area is still being built. I mean, these things take 10 years or something, because it takes a long time. In fact, Milton Keynes itself only builds about 2,000 houses a year. So if you're building 21,000 and there are limits on the number of construction workers and all the rest of it that you can get to do these things. You know, that's 10 years worth just in its own right.
Well, they've stopped in Newport as well, haven't they? Because they're not selling fast enough, so they've actually
Yeah.
slowed down. They break ground and then they
Yeah.
leave it, otherwise they use the planning, then they leave it and just go
Yeah.
from there.
Well, they have to have the archaeological examinations as well. So, I mean, this is huge. Now, Chris Curtis has put out a note, and I have to say, I think he's a very hard-working MP, but I fundamentally think he's got hold of the wrong end of the stick on this. He's the houses that are going up in Milton Keynes, which include the densification of the city centre and further development of the eastern expansion area, are included in the Milton Keynes local plan. They're not in the new plan. The new town plan. The new town plan is this 21,000 houses. And he's confusing, he's conflating the two of them. He thinks the two of them are the same. They're not. And Alison has actually, as you may have seen, written, to ask the ministry to clarify that they're not the same. But I know, because I sat through the local plan presentations that Milton Keynes Council gave, and I heard, the Central Milton Keynes people go nuts over the densification plans and all the rest of it. That's part of that. This is quite a separate thing. And Chris says, well, I want, there are 1,000 homeless families in Milton Keynes at the moment, or people without in temporary accommodation. Well, that's true, and it does need to be addressed. And I would argue it is being addressed by the fact that Milton Keynes Council is building 60,000 houses. And that itself is going to take about 30 years to do, So I just can't tell you the impact that it's going to have. It's going to obliterate Havisham, but it will also affect Castlethorpe and ourselves because it's so close to us. And the whole road between here and Havisham would be rebuilt as part of it. They're going to have to put a bridge across the wetlands arc, which is going to do a whole load of damage to the ecological site there. I mean, it's just a dreadful scheme, which is why Milton Keynes Council rejected it twice. So
sorry, if it's been rejected twice, why has it come up again?
Because the government have brought it forward. It's not a Milton Keynes Council.
National.
Milton Keynes do local plans,
Yes.
which are done.
And that's effectively been brought up twice at Milton Keynes, what's the local level?
They considered it and they said, no, we're going to build elsewhere. And that's what's in both Plan MK, which is the existing plan, and the so-called New City Plan, which is the one that's currently going through, just went through Regulation 19.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a completely separate proposal, which the government originally said was not going to be considered in this Parliament. They considered, I think there are 10 new town proposals, 10 or 12, I can't remember, 3 of which were earmarked for this Parliament, and the others were going to be done subsequently. And they're now trying to bring this one forward. Or I think I know who's behind trying to bring it forward, but anyway. But I think it's a really bad scheme, and I just really do ask residents to object to this.
If they look
Now-
on Facebook, I think Havisham and Little Lingford have put together a sort of reasons to object.
Yeah,
So,
and that is important. Yeah, can I just pick up on this? There has been a discussion, and Alison has arrived just in the nick. There has been a discussion that has been raised by Havisham, both with our MP and with the ministry, about the acceptability of email responses. And the advice at the moment seems to be that they're not going to be accepted, which I think is dreadful for other reasons. And Alison has got that in hand. So what you need to do, residents, is you need to download the form, which was on Facebook, and it's on the Havisham Havisham website. It will be on ours, but we're just redoing our website, which I'll come on to at the end. And you can download the kind of crib sheet, which you can then amend to reflect your own personal views. And you then have to use that form to, you email that form to the ministry. And that's the only way the objections are going to be registered, which is dreadful, but it's the way it is. And it's got to be done by the 19th of May, which is next week. Yeah, so it's very urgent.
Printers,
Sorry?
lots of people won't have printers.
No, you just download it and email it. You can do it,
Oh, right, okay, so it has to be on there if it.
but it has to be on there for. Yeah. Okay, so that's that rant, and I would like to propose that this council sends in a response. There are two responses because Richard Pryor, the chair of Havisham, has been working non-stop on this. You will see there are two there. I left the previous one out because I thought it was unfair just to change it when you might have looked at it before and so on. The one that we would use is called Suggested Resident Response -final. Okay, and if we could use that and ask Jackie to complete a response on behalf of the council, but we should all do it individually as well. That's my proposal.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I'm good. Still done. Very good. Well, shall we, well, we'll just finish off this last agenda item and then we'll come to the ward councillor's report, as Alison said. To discuss repairs needed to the little library, Jackie.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh.
as well, I've got some, well, potentially we've got some S106 library funding. So Alison's suggesting that we, the three villages, get a library, which we've already got. Did you know we already had one?
I don't think I did.
Okay, so we've got one just on the green opposite,
Okay.
but it's in need of repair. No, I should have been going back. It's in need of repair. That Polly manages it for us. So she has, the Open Gardens gave a small contribution to its upkeep, but it's kind of thinking beyond repair. So Polly's husband is actually making, which I wasn't aware of, a new one, and he's nearly finished it. It's bigger and it's more sturdy. It won't have the artwork on there, unfortunately, will it? Because
No.
that's obviously bespoke to that one. But we could do with some funding to get it finished, because it needs a roof. So I was going to ask if we can put in an amount. I don't know how much. Polly said she was going to let me know how much more is needed to finish it, but she hasn't managed to get back to me in time. So
If you just let me know what the amount is, because we can try and find the funding for all three places.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, as it's just materials, I mean, I'm sure it won't be,
Yeah,
it won't be
it
excessive.
won't be, yes.
But
It's
yeah,
quite big.
I must say I was kind of surprised when I saw the photograph of the used building.
It's down.
Yeah.
That's very kind of him.
I hope it will fit on the green.
do they
Sorry.
need any help? Because Milton Keynes Library, Council Library, has offered to start off all the ones that we'll have. I think we'll have two.
Well, this one is well supported by
Yeah,
residents.
well supported already, so you don't need any
Yeah.
starting stock.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you quite often see people going up there and putting books in or taking books out, so it's really good.
But I will check.
And see, just in case you want to refresh it.
Or there
Yeah.
might be a
Yeah, they may have some.
genre that might be missing.
I mean, Polly keeps, people donate books to it by giving them to Polly, and then
Yeah.
Polly curates what goes in. This is Polly McGee and her husband Dan. And we do owe them a real vote of thanks for what they're doing on this. But then Polly curates it and makes sure there's a proper selection of books in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's almost a non-resolution, isn't it? But there we go.
Yeah.
Well, shall we go back then to the ward councillor's report? And congratulations on your
Yes.
re-election, Alan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, do you want me to? No, I'll just stay around today.
Well, just
Like,
pull
swing round
forward a bit and perhaps Kate can just swing.
Super. So yes, apologies for delay. It's been a double header of an evening at Hanslope first. So there was just a couple of things. Obviously, you just discussed the library, which the other two parish councils are going to do. One of the other things just to bring up, because we had a really good meeting in Hanslope about bleed kits and defibrillators. It's the training team that actually from Pink Punters. They sponsor somebody to come up, and one of the things that we're going to be doing is putting bleed kits next to the defibrillators in Hanslope. So I had a look at.
Sorry for smiling, but we've been promised for.
Yeah. Well, over a year. Oh, Tilly, when
Yeah.
Tilly's gone, and then
I know, I don't know what happened to the ones that because we've got them in
Yeah,
each
please
of
do
the parts of the shop in
we
Hanslope.
did purchase our own. We have got one here inside, but
Yeah.
we've also got one at the beginning.
But I found the cabinets that can go next to if you
Absolutely.
have a defibrillator one. There's just over £2,300 in emergency care and S106 monies
Right.
there. So I just spoke to Hanslope and said if they're going to put one where they are, or if we can go back, because I think they're about £350 each. So again, if we had at least one cabinet next to a defibrillator or across the ward, that's a good start. And then if anybody wants individual ones as well. But anyway, before the next parish council meeting, before your agenda comes out, I'll send through the costings that I know, and you can have a think about where it'd be sensible. Also, if this chat will come up, I think Havisham will do an evening where he does the same. It's there's mannequins with blood that come out, and it's all very exciting. But it was brilliant, and the whole of the village was talking about it, just about how to buy people an extra few minutes. So I'll send through that with some ideas, and you can see if you want to take it forward.
What's the access to it? I mean, with the defibrillators, you have to ring up and.
Well, that was part of the training that we all did, was that from the beginning of this year, the advice is not to have defibrillators locked. If there's any way of putting them permanently open, that's now the new advice, because since they've been doing it in all places where it's been open, the amount of times that it's ever damaged or messed around with is tiny, 2% out of the thousands that they look after. Because I think you'd have to be a special kind of rotter to play with something that's going to potentially save somebody's life. And I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're out there. But on the flip side, we had about 140 people in the club to learn how to use them. So I think proportionally, there's a lot more people. So Hanslope are going to look at the ones, the parish council have 2 of them, and there's another 2 in the village, and everyone's just going to check what theirs are to see if they can be permanently opened. Or whether the lock has to be amended in some way, but that's entirely down to choice. But they said for every minute you can save getting the defibrillator, the chances of their survival goes up exponentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Richard Bradley is very good on this as our first responder.
Yeah.
And his concern was that there needs to be some kind of triage to make sure that the patient needs a defibrillator, so that you don't put it on to somebody who's basically is still breathing and
Yes.
the heart is still working, because that could actually cause damage. And the triaging is done by the 999 operator.
Or a first aid.
But it does
Well,
talk you through the process. You can't just use it. It speaks to you and
Yes, it
tells
does.
you what
It
to
does,
say
yeah.
and how to do it. But anyway, that was just the guidance that we
Yeah.
were given by those who now look after these, is that they should be unlocked because it saves time. But that's down to
I
decision.
think you'll also find that the defibrillators these days won't actually shock somebody who doesn't need it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It literally just won't do it. It'll tell you to do CPR, but it will not shock if there's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think what would be useful is to ask Richard Bradley if there's an update on this.
I don't know if we're going to
Say
be able
again.
to unlock.
Sorry?
I don't know if we can unlock.
No, we can't. Well,
We
actually,
have to-
Richard can, he's got the code.
Yeah.
No, but
And
we need to leave it permanently unlocked.
yeah,
We'd have
I'm
to
saying
store
it depends
that
what kind of
bit.
box it is and
Yeah.
what the lock
Yeah.
is and all the
yes,
rest of
it'd
it.
have to
But
be a new
that's certainly
cabinet, yeah.
the official advice now.
Well,
But
we'll get some advice from Richard on that and then make decisions going
Absolutely.
forward, yeah.
And
Yes, it
again,
won't shock, if we don't cause any cost, it won't shock the patient, it's basically breathing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
You know,
Okay.
they are sophisticated bit of kits,
Of
but
course,
certainly
I
with the
Yeah, and
flea
it-
pits as well. We're looking to put them where the main kind of recreation grounds and playing
Yeah.
grounds are.
Yeah, that would be.
And I've only got my little home tourniquet kit stuff in just in case. So inspired as I.
Right.
Couple of other things, obviously, we're just talking about the New Towns proposal, and
Yes.
you saw I've
Yeah.
forwarded to you today my concerns about how badly it's being done. There's actually, it's called gunning principles that are meant to be how public consultations are carried out by the government. And I think they're in contravention of them, which is why I've written what I have. I've had a fairly insipid and inaccurate response from our MP. But he's going to supposedly clarify about the acceptance of emails, but it does look like go on, do the form wherever you possibly can, because numbers will matter. And we've been speaking to lots of different bodies. So the charity that owns the Linford Woods, the British Horse Society, Ramblers Association, everybody who could be involved to try and get as many objections in as possible. But time will tell. The only other really pertinent thing for here, well, two things. Thames Valley Police at the Havisham annual parish meeting were there. They are now retraining some of their team, so that at the moment they've been doing lots of stopping speeding. So they've done 10 in Havisham since the beginning of the year, or no, 3 in Havisham since the beginning of the year, and caught 10 people, but are just issuing warning letters. They're now getting everybody trained up so that they can issue tickets. So, and they're doing more speed checks than they have been. Thames Valley Police.
Oh,
So the actual
the
police
police.
doing, not the community speed watch, the actual. So just be warned, they're warning, they're out, and you will get tickets. And they're doing it more than they ever have done before, or certainly to my knowledge. And the only other thing is obviously Blimmin Station Road dragging on, which has now been put back to September. As soon as we get this consultation, New Towns thing out the way, going to write an open letter to West Northants and get Sarah Ball, then ask the MP for West Northants to sign it, the ward councillors from there, ourselves, yourselves. So I'll have that in front of you before the next parish council meeting, and then hopefully we can just put some public pressure on West Northants to say it's not just perhaps in September, it's actually going to happen. Because the state of the road on their side is appalling. And part of what I want to write is that if anybody, a cyclist, pedestrian or a car, anybody gets hurt, or especially if there's any problems with farm vehicles going out during harvest time and stuff, that's going to fall on them, because that's a known issue now that they're not fixing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, my impression is that the road from the navigation up to the triangle in 508 has actually been repaired reasonably well, and our thanks to Ian
McCord,
McCord, yeah, worked very hard on that.
Yeah.
The area between Castlethorpe, really roundabout where the lights are, was in a dreadful condition, and I thought they had actually temporarily patched it so that
there's been patches on the right up to the first bridge, which is the Milton Keynes border to the river. They came out and did some great patches because there was an enormous series of holes there. But the sides of the road on the west north ends and in the centre of the road, there are some really big holes there.
Okay.
And that is, you know, as a known issue, that's their liability.
Certainly, I mean, and this is kind of speaking personally, but when you're going out of the village and you come to the first traffic light and you want to pull in there, which is you go past a bridge and then you have to pull in, and the road just drops away.
Well, a good tractor, take it from me.
Absolutely. It's
that really does need, because if you try to keep away from that edge, which I do, you then are sticking out a bit too far, you know, so it does need.
And before we know it, it's going to be harvest time, there's going to be bigger vehicles coming.
There is now, it's silage.
It's
Luke Stacey said, you know, he's bringing some animals back from Passenham, and he met someone coming the other way that was bringing rye, I think it was, on the bridges, which he found highly amusing. which I wouldn't have found highly amusing.
No, it would have been.
Anyway, yeah.
So are Milton Keynes Council going to put back their work, because they were going to do some stuff at the same time, weren't they?
No, yeah, they've done the patching work because the holes were so big
Oh,
on the
exactly, they
MK
were.
side, but it's all the West North End side where it's really bad. And there's no point, and in an ideal world, if we can get absolute verification for West North End's doing their side, and when it's definitively going to happen, then that's when I'll ask Highways to come in and inspect it
We're
and see if
putting
it
that on
makes
Fix
sense.
My Street every meeting.
What's that?
We're putting that state of that road on Fix My Street and every other on Castlethorpe Parish Council.
So well then maybe we'll see if we can get Castlethorpe Parish Council to sign on the open letter as well, and we'll just try and put as much public pressure on to get it, because this is the third time they've said the contractor isn't available. And I think that's it, unless there's anything else.
No, that's fine. You will be relieved, we had a discussion earlier that we're going to try and avoid moving to the second Monday of the month, although midweek, like bank holiday, to avoid you having to be in two places at once.
I am a court of all of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's quite needless too.
Okay, shall we move on then to the payment schedule for this month? And looking at it, there was going down as a batch of payments to Jackie. There's cleaning the municipal bus station. It's all fairly straightforward. The changing locks on the football pavilion, which Steve raised at the last meeting. There's a servicing the fire extinguishers at the pavilion, which you should really re-invoice that to CCS.
Sure, is that not the parish council?
Well, no, it is, you're right, it is parish council, isn't it? Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you. And cleaning the village signs. Has that been done now?
Yeah,
It has.
we did it this week.
Very good. And then the standing order. So any questions on the payment schedule?
Not at all.
No?
Yeah.
Have you got one, Cameron?
No.
No, you're okay.
Just thank you, Jackie, for doing the toilets.
Oh, that's fine.
There you go.
She finished up.
Okay, in that case, I'll propose, I need a seconder for the financial, it was Darren, and all in favour of the schedule. Yeah. Dave, will you be so kind? You've got it.
Yeah, I've got a pencil.
Correspondence,
But in correspondence. Oh, yeah. So I've had a resident, the Kissing Gate, just opposite here, as you go over to the railway bridge, had come away from the post, but he's,
what, the metal?
yeah, he did a temporary repair on it, which is very good of him, but he said it's still, I think the post is rotten, but there's a few around in there.
Yeah,
I think we need to get that fixed.
Yes, if you would. I mean, actually, could we also get the post that we discussed the other day from Thrupp into the sports ground, the
Pedestrian.
pedestrian one, yeah. That please.
So that needs doing.
Though, if I can say, you know, the breaking news was that the big 5 bar gates at the sports ground, new ones were delivered today. Courtesy, if I can make this publicly known, of Philip Sawbridge, who donated it to the village, really. They're currently there. They'll be installed. Well, he said imminently, which I thought actually might even have been today, but I think within the next day or so. I think the post on which they are mounted, which I think might be, I'm not sure if it's the same post or not as the one we're talking about on the footpath, but I would wait until the big ones have been done.
Oh no, I'm talking about just literally opposite here.
You're talking there, but I'm talking about the one from the sports ground into Thrupp
I thought you
Close.
were talking about the gate by where Luke Jeffries lives, not that one that you come through.
That may be wobbly. I mean, the trouble is, a lot of these posts are going now. Yeah.
So it's a bit-
I mean, Luke says that it's a change in regulations about
what you can use.
what you can.
But there was the new gates put there. And it's
No more arsenic.
no more arsenic on the gates.
So yeah.
And they don't like it.
Well, we start licking the gates now.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to have those. And then I had a resident say about a tree in fish ponds. So they live on Mill Road and the tree is in the fish ponds. It's got, but they're all, I looked myself, they're all very big now and it's over.
Yeah.
But who owns?
What's that?
Is it us?
Yeah, it'll be
I
us.
looked on our registry, it's unregistered.
No, but well,
Because we obviously would be responsible for ground level, but actually.
I know maintenance of there is down to Milton Keynes Council.
So-
If it's
Yeah,
above,
you agree with all, I'll be agreeing with that.
yeah, yes, it is. So if it can be reached from the ground, then it's us. But if it's above that, then you can request needs to go.
That's what I was hoping. This, a resident said that gates are being left open all around the village and sheep are wandering where they shouldn't be wandering. Basically, I think the sheep from Castlethorpe have gone into the little alleyway
I
towards.
was going to
towards
put
where-
that thing up on Facebook, I don't think
She
I've
just asked if
got
we
distracted.
had some.
Yeah,
Gates be kept shut. And then the SID are all coming into the village from Wolverton Road. Someone stopped me and asked what we're doing about that. Because it's flashing all sorts of numbers.
Numbers,
yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
It looks like it's gone to,
Kilometres.
to
kilometres, yeah.
kilometres, yeah. Well, it has, because I was quite impressed with the speed I was coming down.
Yeah.
Actually, it's 39.
57 for me, which is probably way too fast.
Yeah.
Well, it was flashing all sorts of numbers at me.
And it's smiling at you, it's green.
Yeah.
It tells you that. So, yeah.
So, yeah,
Okay, well, look,
that's all the resident.
that's the residents, okay? Any other business for noting or including on a future agenda?
The next meeting's held at.
I know, I've just noticed that.
7:30.
Yeah,
Yeah,
7:30.
yeah, so I thought-
Yeah.
Copy
Uh,
from this week.
I'm not about next meeting,
June.
my boy's birthday, we're going to Legoland.
Cool.
I don't think I'll be back, or be travelling back, so.
Yeah, we've got deep pockets.
No, they've got an inset day, so as the
It's just after.
meetings, yeah.
Training.
So they got half term and then the Monday's inset day.
Okay. The other thing I will mention, I think councillors have seen it, but there is a new website which we're just trying to get live now. It's been done by Bradley West and one of the staff, Ellie Joe, who work for BPW Design. He's a Hanslope resident. And he's done a cracking job on it. If you have a look at it, it really is very, very good now. And you can see all sorts of black papers because it just links through to folders now rather than him having to load them actually onto the website itself. We've been trying to get it going live Friday and today, and running into a few problems because it is a .gov.uk website. There are some quite security credentials to stop gov.uk sites being taken over by people who shouldn't have them. So there's all sorts of credentials that he's got to get sorted out. But hopefully it will be done tomorrow. And do have a look at it. And we'll look forward to any feedback on it. But I think it's a fantastic job that they've done. Really do thank them for it. Right. Anything else? No, I think that's fine. So 7:30, 1st of June. We'll call an end to this part of the meetings. So I'll now close the live stream on YouTube. So thank you all for watching, and please remember to put in your responses on the new town consultation. Really, very important. Good night.